Are you struggling to make your product stand out on Amazon? Are you feeling overwhelmed by all the steps you need to take to boost your visibility? Or maybe you're wondering how to increase sales without adding even more to your plate. If any of this sounds familiar, I've got just the thing for you. Join me for my upcoming live masterclass, 5 Ways to be More Visible on Amazon Without the Overwhelm. In this workshop, I'm sharing 5 actionable strategies that you can start using right away to make your product stand out, attract more customers and boost your sales, all without spending hours stressing over what to do next. This masterclass is perfect for small business owners and solopreneurs selling on Amazon who want to grow their sales without the confusion or frustration. Whether you've been on there a while or just starting, this will be great for you. The workshop is happening on Tuesday the 18th of February at 12 p.m. and it's happening online, so you can join from wherever you are. Spaces are limited, so please don't wait. Head to calendly.com/Vicky Weinberg/get-visible to save your seat, and let's make your Amazon business more visible and successful without the overwhelm.
Welcome to the Bring Your Product Idea to Life podcast. This is the podcast for you if you're getting started selling products or if you'd like to create your own product to sell. I'm Vicky Weinberg, a product creation coach and Amazon expert. Every week, I share friendly, practical advice as well as inspirational stories from small businesses. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome to Amazon Made Easy. So today I want to talk to you all about how to increase visibility of your products on Amazon. So I recently held a masterclass on this topic and I wanted to share some of it with you because I think it's really valuable. Of course, this is going to be a much shorter version of the full hour-long workshop that I held, and obviously there is an opportunity for Q&A here. So the full version of that masterclass is available in my membership, Amazon Made Easy. The membership closes on Friday, the 28th of February. If you're listening in real time, and so if you're interested in accessing the replay of that workshop, that's where you can get it. If you go to amazonmadeeasy.co.uk, that's where you can sign up. So let's talk about why it's important to be visible on Amazon. Well, first of all, nobody can buy your product if they can't find your product. So we have to remember that Amazon is a marketplace. When customers on Amazon, they're there to shop. And Amazon, we also have to remember, likes to make money. So Amazon makes money for every sale made on the platform. So if a customer's coming on Amazon to shop, it's within Amazon's interest to show the customer the product or products that they think best matches what they're looking for, hoping that this would increase the likelihood of the customer making the sale and Amazon then getting some money. So hopefully that makes sense. So Amazon is going to reward, and when I say reward, show the products most highly that it thinks are 1, relevant, and 2, have a proven sales history, i.e. customers have bought them before and they've liked them, which is why it's really, really hard to get started, especially on Amazon. You've probably heard me say this, it's very unlikely that you'll be able to list a product on Amazon and start to make sales. Maybe that was the case a long time ago, but now you do have to put some work in. First of all, you need to list your products really, really well. And I'm going to talk about some of those things today. So some of the things that you can do to help improve your product visibility. But then you also need to work on driving traffic to your product listings until you start to rank organically. But obviously the fundamentals are doing it really well in the first place. So I just wanted to share with you today 5 quick things you can think about doing that will really help improve your visibility on Amazon. And whether that's you're just starting, so you're just listing your products now and you want to get it right from the start, or perhaps you've been on Amazon for a while, you're not seeing the sales that you'd expect, or maybe sales have slowed down. These are all things that you can go and think about and look at and tweak and see if it makes a difference with your product's visibility. So the first thing I want to talk about is having a really well optimized product listing. And this should always be your priority on Amazon, in my opinion. Having a great product listing that's well optimized for search and really well reflects the product that you're selling. And when I say reflects the product you're selling, I mean, it all comes down to search, really. That all of the things that a customer would be looking for, typing in the search bar, if they were looking for a product like yours, are in there, as well as the relevance factor of all of the information a customer needs to make a buying decision. being in your product listing. So I know that's quite a lot to think about. So if we break this down a little bit, so every product listing on Amazon has a product title, key features, description, and search terms. And these all need to be really well written and optimized for SEO. So this means finding out what are the keywords customers are searching for and then using them in your text, as well as I've just said, giving them all the information required to help them make the decision that, yes, this is the product I'm looking for and I'm going to go and buy it. So let's cover each of these off really briefly. So starting with the product title, your title needs to be relevant, as I've said, so it needs to tell the customer what your product is while using language they'll be searching for. It needs to make sense, so it can't just be stuff full of keywords, and it needs to entice customers to click through. A good tip to share with you is that titles can get cut off in search results. So when you go to Amazon, you type something in the search bar, you will probably see just the beginning bit of the title, and it might be the last few words, depending how long the title isn't visible. So you really want to make sure the most important aspects of your product title are at the start. So let's say your product is vegan, and that's a key selling feature of your product. You don't put vegan as the last word at the end, because chances are a lot of customers won't see that. If you know that that's one of the things that, that's your USP, that's one of the things that makes your product stand out. And importantly, that's one of the things that would convince a customer to buy your product over someone else's. It needs to be higher up in that title so that customers can actually see that when they're looking at all those results that we all look at on the Amazon search page, and they're deciding which ones am I going to click through and have a better look at. So the key features are the 5 bullet points. Now, this is a really good opportunity to get as much information as you can about your product and really compel the customer to buy. My advice here is to focus on the benefits of the product rather than the features. I mean, yes, you do need to talk about features, but really think about what it is about your product that would, that will get a customer to choose yours over other similar products. Remember here to talk about the elements that are important to your customer and not just the things that are important to you. If you've done any kind of customer research, you might have a good idea of this. You might know what are the features that your customer is looking for. If you've been selling this product on Amazon already, you can find that information out from the reviews. You can see what do people say that they really like about your product. They tell you why they chose your product, and make sure those are the things that you're talking about, while also remembering to include keywords, particularly long tail keywords that your customers are searching for, because the bullet points also count towards your SEO. And then you have a product description, which has 200 characters and is a great place to add more details. So maybe the specific features of your product go in here, although I wouldn't use, unless you feel like it's absolutely essential, I wouldn't use this space for things like ingredients or sizes of products, because there are specific fields that you can fill in for that. So I would use this space for, things that are important, and remembering as well that if you're going to be using A+ content, which we'll talk about a bit later, most customers will actually skim over your product description. So you don't want to be spending masses of time. It's a field you need to fill in, but if you're going to be using A+, this isn't one really to focus on. And then at the back of your listing, you can add 250 characters of search terms. So this is a great place for anything you weren't able to use in your product listing text, any keywords. You can repeat words, you can repeat your keywords in the search terms as well. Search terms aren't visible to anyone. They're just another way of getting your SEO up. So this is another important place to put your keywords. Now, the next thing I want to talk about when we're talking about improving visibility, obviously we've touched on the text and how you can make changes to your text. 1, to make sure that you come up in search, and 2, to make sure that all the information a customer's looking for is there. Second thing I want to talk about is the images and graphics on your product listing. Because on an Amazon search results page, you can see 2 things. So you go onto Amazon now, you search for any product, you get a whole page of lists. It goes on and on, doesn't it? That first page of listings. And all you can see is the main image for the product and the title. So we've spoken about the title. So now let's talk about images. So the image you use for the main picture on your listing has to entice people to click through to your listing. That's really, really important. Of course, Amazon has some image requirements that make it hard for that main image to be particularly exciting, because as you hopefully know, it needs to be your product on a white background. But this is where having a really nice image, high resolution, so customers can zoom in and have a really good look at it, will really help you. And as well as having that main image, once we move on to the other product images, less rules apply here. So I suggest for these images having some lifestyle shots, so actually showing the product, how it would be used, or maybe if it's a toiletry, showing it in a bathroom. If it's a cleaning product, maybe showing it on the surface, maybe showing it on a kitchen, maybe showing a before and after shot. You can get some graphics made up if your product would benefit for that. And that could highlight dimensions, it could highlight key features. So let's say if you sold boxes, I worked for a brand once who sold packing boxes. They had an image showing the height, width and length of their boxes. They had one showing cutaway, so you could see, how it was constructed and how sturdy it was. They had images that represented, that showed you how much you could pack in them. These boxes are good for clothes, whereas these ones are a bit sturdier. They're good for, DVDs or whatever. I don't know if people pack DVDs now, but you know what I mean. They had really great images that showed, that really made the customer see, okay, if I bought these boxes, I can see how many I get, I can see the sizes, I can see that these boxes would be good for this thing and that box would be good for that thing. So you see what I mean? It really helps to build a picture. Customers will often flick through your product images, perhaps even before reading any of your text. I know I certainly do. And having text and graphics can be a really good way of reiterating all the key product information that's probably in your title and in your bullet points. Having some of those key things in the images can really help, because there are customers who will shop by coming through to your product, and the first thing they'll do is flick through the images. So if you have all the key information there, even if it is a repeat of what you've got in your bullet points, I don't mean, of course, put your bullet points into images. I mean, just have images that highlight some of these key features and components of your listings. That would be really helpful for people who don't want to read all the text or just want to skim the text, but need to know the important things about your product, i.e. the things that are important to them and will encourage them to buy. So the third thing I like to talk about when it comes to visibility is FBA. So if you're not already using FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon, and if your product isn't oversized, because if your product is oversized, FBA probably isn't the way to go. I've got a separate episode on FBA where I talk a lot more about this, so you can always go back and listen to that one. But if you sell as they say, a regular size product, FBA definitely could be worth trying. A couple of reasons. Customers value getting products quickly. Let's face it, we can all buy on impulse. We can also all buy things at last minute when we realise there's a birthday party and I haven't got a gift. And some customers will choose which product they buy based on how soon it can arrive. So again, we're talking about visibility. We're talking about someone searches for something and then all the results come up on the first page. I know there's definitely been times where I've gone, I need this quickly. I'm going to disregard anything that doesn't have a Prime badge. And if you search, you will also see that the products with the Prime badge show up higher in the results, because the Prime badge signals faster shipping to customers and encourages them to choose those options when they're searching. And as I said earlier, Amazon wants to show the options that they believe will convert the best, and therefore make them the most money. If you're using FBA, that makes them a little bit more money as a seller. But from a customer, that's great. And Amazon, at the end of the day, is quite customer focused. And if you're offering Prime on your listing, that will make it show up higher in the search results, which automatically helps to boost visibility. Now, this one's a bit of a, they may call it a wild card, because you might not want to use FBA. You might not want to do anything I've suggested, by the way, and I'm completely aware of that. But it's definitely something to consider. Might be something worth testing to see if you did FBA for a month. And as I've mentioned before, you don't need to send in a lot of stock. It could be worth seeing, okay, if I test it for a month, does it have an impact on my sales? What kind of impact does it have? And you could also as well offer both. I've mentioned this before too. You could have an FBA and an FBM, which is fulfilled by merchant, offer at the same time, and you could see, which one generated the most sales. It would be the same product listing, just with two ways of fulfilling the orders, and you could test out in real time. And actually, while I speak of testing, I think for a lot of what I've covered today, testing is really good. So main images and another place where you could do some A/B testing. So let's say you've had your product on Amazon for a while, you might want to switch out your main image and see if it makes a difference to your sales and your visibility. Equally, if you're just starting on Amazon and you're not quite sure what images to go with, you could list your product with one image, leave that a couple of weeks, switch out your main image and see, does it make a difference? You don't want to be doing this too often, because for customers who buy your products regularly, especially if your product is something that people would buy on repeat, if the image changes too much, it's going to confuse them, because we're obviously very visual. When we look in the search results, we see the image and we go, oh, that's what I'm looking for. I know that things like supplements that I buy regularly, for example, if the bottle suddenly changed, I'm not sure I'd find it in the search results, because I can't always remember what something's called. I can remember what the picture looked like. So we don't want to be doing this too much, but there's definitely value in doing a bit of testing and seeing, does this work better than this? Does FBA work better than FBM? Does this image work better than this image? Does this title work better than this title? Obviously, this all takes time and you've only got so much of that, but I would definitely try experimenting with just a few small things and seeing if they make a difference. So the fourth thing I wanted to talk about was brand registry and all of the features that gives you. So if your brand has a pending or registered trademark in the country in which you wish to sell, you can apply for brand registry. I've done a whole episode on brand registry, so I'll keep this fairly light. But the main things I want to tell you is that brand registry is absolutely free. All you need is a pending or existing trademark, and it's free, and it gives you access to lots of features on Amazon that are only available to brand registered sellers. So you get the ability to set up A+ content, which is sort of more opportunities to talk about your product. That's enhanced content you see on the listing. This is one of these things actually where when I was doing the masterclass and I had loads of examples, I could bring things up on my screen and show people visually, it was a lot easier to understand. So if you are interested in a replay for that masterclass, go to amazonmadeeasy.co.uk and you'll be able to get that there. But A+ content essentially is extra information on the bottom of a listing, so graphics, text, you can put videos on there as well. You can also use it to highlight other products to build visibility of those. You can also use a brand store, which is great to build brand credibility. It gets all your products in one place. It can make your products easier to find. They're all grouped together under a store. You can also run ads to your store pages, so that's great for increasing visibility across a range of products. And as I say, to get access to all of this, you have to be enrolled in brand registry. So if you have a trademark or you've applied for a trademark, I think you've got absolutely nothing to lose by applying for brand registry. And if you have brand registry and you're not making the most of these features, I would say definitely do that. And then the fifth and final thing I wanted to talk about was driving traffic to your listing. Now, I mean, this is probably really obvious that to make your listing more visible, we're doing something to drive traffic, but it is worth talking about because I do honestly speak to people who aren't doing this. They're not doing anything to drive traffic, and then they wonder why they're not getting any. So probably the quickest way to get sales started on Amazon or to boost existing sales is sponsored products ads. So this will cost you obviously a bit of money. However, I do think investing even just a little bit in ads can really help get things going. There are lots of different ways you can advertise. There are lots of options on Amazon. Unless you really know what you're doing, I'd suggest starting off with a simple keyword targeting campaign. You've already done some work, hopefully looking in keywords, looking into sorts of things people are searching for to find product like yours. And you can start off with a low daily budget as well. You absolutely don't need to be spending a lot of money on ads. But personally, I think Amazon ads are quite good. They're quite easy to set up, easy to manage. And they can be a really good way of increasing visibility to your listings. I will be running an ads workshop in March for Amazon Made Easy members. So if you join this time around, you'll get that for free, and that'll be exclusive to members as well. I don't want to keep talking about the membership. However, there is a lot going on that if you're interested in selling on Amazon, you may well be interested in. So I do feel I should at least mention that to you. And then if you are looking for ways to drive traffic and visibility, but you don't want to spend money on ads, or you don't have the budget to spend money on ads, there are some things you can do for free as well. So if you have a mailing list, you can email them. You can email your friends and family, or text your friends and family, or tell your friends and family however you like, but you can send them the link to your products on Amazon. So, look, I'm on Amazon. Can you tell other people that I'm on Amazon? You can share on social media. So whether that's your business social media, whether that's your personal social media, whether you're going into relevant Facebook groups that allow you to advertise and talking about your products, if the rules allow that, obviously. You can share with, anyone and everyone, anyone who gave input into your product, anyone you know who might be interested in buying your product, anyone who might know people who'd be interested in buying your product. I think the key to getting visibility for anything is just to keep talking about it, however hard that might be. And I know as well that with Amazon, you might be feeling a bit disheartened hearing that, because we've covered all the things you need to do really well to give your listener a chance of being visible. And then to hear, and I need to do all of this on top. I know that it's hard, but I always think Amazon a bit of, the analogy of a snowball, where it's really hard to get the first sales, and then they start to build, and then they start to build. And then I promise it does become a case of, once you're getting regular, consistent sales, you'll get more regular, consistent sales, because it kind of feeds off itself. Once Amazon can see that your product is, if first of all that people are buying it and that they're reviewing it, and you're not getting a high number of returns and all those sorts of things that say to Amazon, tick all the boxes for Amazon, that yes, this is a good product, essentially, that will really start to help. And you will notice that your rankings, so where you appear in the search results, starts to go up as a result of that. And then you'll be shown to more people, and then hopefully as a result of that, you'll get more sales. It's definitely not an overnight thing, but hopefully this has helped you with some ideas on things that you can practically do. Practical things you can do to help increase your visibility. So as always, I hope that was of interest. I hope that was useful for you. I hope there's at least one thing you can go away and do and try. If there's anything you would particularly like me to cover in future episodes, please do just let me know. As always, I would love to hear from you. And if not, we have our usual guest interview this Friday, and then I'll be back next Tuesday with another Amazon Made Easy episode. So I'll speak to you then.
Thank you so much for listening right to the end of this episode. Do remember that you can get the full back catalogue and lots of free resources on my website, vickyweinberg.com. Please do remember to rate and review this episode if you've enjoyed it, and also share it with a friend who you think might find it useful. Thank you again, and see you next week. If you've been inspired to start a podcast in 2024, I really recommend my podcast host, Captivate. Captivate were my top pick when I started podcasting 4 years ago, because of how easy it was for a complete novice like me to get started. I've stuck with them for the last 4 years because Captivate is still really simple to use. They keep adding great new features, like the ability to share ads like these, and they've just been really reliable. So when you're ready to start your own podcast, you can use the link in the show notes and get a free 7-day trial with Captivate.